Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the VAR You Serious podcast express edition. Mike is enjoying a nice glass of wine, even though we need to run through this very speedy today to get in all of our reactions. Dad, are you ready to go?
Just, getting a little happy juice here, trying to drown my sorrows about the U.S. national team, but let's get it going.
Yes, we all need to loosen up a little bit with how bad we're playing, but the big news of the day, Dad, we got almost all the qualified playoff teams. We have Turkey, we have Sweden, we have Bosnia, we have Czechia, and we have the Democratic Republic of Congo all booking their places into the World Cup. So congratulations to them. But the big talking point, Italy out for the third straight World Cup, the first ever winners of the competition to do that ever. So pretty historic stuff occurring right now. Dad, what do we think about this? I mean, this is groundbreaking stuff.
Yeah, I guess the only people who are more concerned today or sad today than the U.S. fans are the Italian fans. Well, I'm sure the reggae boys and some other folks are pretty bummed, pretty sad too. But it is crazy. I did not think in my lifetime I would see this happen. Growing up, Italy were amazing, beautiful soccer. Yeah, I heard from friends of mine who'd been in Italy when they won the World Cup years ago. It's shocking. This is downright shocking, and it's not like they don't have good players. I don't know what's happening. I don't understand.
Well, a red card, I believe 40 minutes into the game or 30 minutes into the game definitely does not help your chances of getting into the World Cup. So they have that to blame, but just a poor performance, I think, overall from Italy, not putting their best out when they needed it most, Dad. And Italy have not made it out of a group stage since 2000, the World Cup. So is this truly a decline in Italian football? And does something need to happen within the whole country?
Yes, it is. If it was one World Cup, like when the U.S. missed the World Cup a few cycles ago, okay, that sucks, but we can deal. Missing 3 World Cups in a row, the proof is there. There is a problem, and they clearly don't know what the problem is, and or the solutions they've tried simply aren't working. They are in deep doo-doo as a federation, and I don't know where they go from here.
I saw CBS bring up a point, Dad, about how there's a lot of foreigners playing in the Italian league. The level of Serie A football has dropped quite a bit in the past 15 years. I think those are all excuses. Italy produces some of the best players in the world. I mean, you're looking at that lineup saying, how are they not, quite honestly, wiping the floor with Bosnia? No disrespect to Bosnia and Herzegovina. Beautiful country, great team, put on a great performance today at home. But Italy should be absolutely mopping them in this sort of game when they need to win. You have guys that have been in Champions League finals within the last year on that Italian team, Dad.
It's here, and it feels like obviously the players today are not the same players 10, 12 years ago, but there's a vibe, there's something about it that they have the best goalkeeper in the world, right? Is it fair to say Donnarumma is one of the best in the world?
I mean, he has to be based on accolades.
Right? Obviously the goalkeeper can't score, but you got guys like Calafiori playing defense. I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
Well, our boy Calafiori can maybe hold his head high. He looked really good on the pitch today from what I saw. Had a good rating as well if we're doing that type of game. But I think you're right, Dad. I think it's such a mental thing because let's go to the penalty shootout. Italy had held on for 120 minutes at 1-1, right? They had held on to that point. They get to the shootout. 2 of their guys miss, don't even hit the target at all. And then Donnarumma, when he needs to step up most, does guess the right way. And what I've never seen him do before is fumble the ball into the back of the goal. I mean, talk about soft hands. Hit his hand and goes in. I mean, dude, your team is trying to book its spot to the World Cup and you don't make that stop there. I mean, all of the blame shouldn't fall on him, but it's these mental mistakes. Bastoni getting a red card in the first half of a knockout game. Like, it's these little things, and I think it passes down from the manager, Gennaro Gattuso, a famous hothead, famously couldn't control his emotions. Clearly, that's run down to the players, don't you think? I mean, maybe not every cycle they've missed, but at least this one.
Well, when it rains, it pours, to use a stupid cliche, and started with the red card, went into the PKs, and then Donnarumma. I just think that once you get on that treadmill of mistakes, it's very easy for even the best in the world to do it as well. So I think we're delaying the inevitable here. We've got to talk about the U.S. I think we're nice to start with Italy, but the U.S. men's national team is not in a good position heading into this World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, we both watched at least some of the game today, and we looked flat for the most part. I think the U.S. had a couple good chances, but Portugal showed its quality with its B team nonetheless. I mean, listen, Bruno was playing. There was good players on the pitch. But Dad, talk about that difference in moments of moments of quality in clinical moments.
Well, I mean, their 2 goals came from quality. And I mean, even something as simple as a heel pass, right? That sets up the opportunity. And we had defenders mostly in the right positions on both goals. It's just that this is clear. I mean, now, granted, the U.S. played 2 quality opponents in this window, so I give them kudos for that. But we simply don't have the quality when it counts. Even Pulisic, who had a hell of an opportunity, well, actually, probably 2, he just couldn't do it, right? Where the Portuguese guys did. And I think that's going to be the story of the World Cup, not just for the U.S., but a lot of teams like the U.S. So those teams outside the top 10, they're going to lose in those moments where quality is necessary. Sure, I mean, Pulisic is capable of that quality. McKennie's capable of that quality, but I didn't see it the last 2 games, and I don't think I'll see it in the World Cup.
Yeah, I think the lack of decisiveness and execution is really missing for the U.S., which is unfortunate. And you look in the moments that Portugal had mainly came from U.S. mistakes because the U.S. lost the ball in midfield on the first goal, but it's the decisive action. Vitinha, one of the best midfielders in the world right now, immediate through ball into Bruno, like pinpoint perfect into Bruno, splitting our defense basically through 2 lines. Bruno, it runs a little far, but like you said, a back heel can happen, but doing it correctly is another thing. And Bruno perfected it, left it on an absolute platter for Trincao, who one touch to his left foot in the bottom right corner. Done. Goal.
Yeah.
Within 5 seconds. I mean, that's just something, to your point, Dad, we don't see these teams outside the top 10 do. They cannot do that quick transition and be clinical and absolutely kill their opponent. That's what lost the U.S. the game today, because the teams didn't look like they had too much between them in terms of actual play. And the U.S. had some good passages, but it's those decisive moments that we're talking about that the U.S. keep missing.
Well, and it's not just a singular moment of quality. Like you kind of did the replay. It was 3 moments of quality back to back to back, right? Pass, heel pass, finish. The U.S., I mean, who are those 3 guys for the U.S.? Pulisic, maybe. McKennie, maybe. Like Tillman, maybe. We just don't have that. We don't have it.
Well, especially all in that linking motion,
Exactly.
Nothing really looks fluid enough for us. We get the exciting pass forward, and then we look a little confused. Like, it almost looks like the guy who receives doesn't quite know what's coming next. Whereas Portugal, Bruno knew when Vitinha played that ball, Trincao was going to be right behind him and he was going to have that pass. I bet you Bruno knew right before the U.S. lost the ball where that ball was going if they got it.
Sure.
It's thinking 4 steps ahead, which our players simply are not doing. And I think that's where the difference lies. And Dad, I mean, to your point, we complained about the defense the other day. The defense didn't play that bad today. Richards and Trusty looked all right. They played out well from the back. They mainly held on to their marks, and they got beat by 2 moments of quality. But that's the problem. That's why we're not going to win anything. And Dad, this is where I'm also getting concerned. We didn't talk about them yet, but now the US has Turkey in their group, who looks like an extremely resilient and extremely clinical side after beating Kosovo today, 1-0.
Yeah, I think we absolutely could lose, probably will lose to Turkey in the group stage. I'm going to tell you right now, since I guess the last few weeks I've been willing to go out on limbs here and make predictions. I wasn't sure whether the US could win a knockout round game. I don't think they can win a knockout round game. I know there's 48 teams, and so the first knockout round, but the real knockout, right? When we get to the old knockout round level, right? I don't think they can win a knockout round game. So I'm going to say right now they don't win that. I mean, I want them to. Maybe we're going to have to rely on a little bit of luck and home field advantage to maybe put us over the top. But I'm going to say right now, I don't think we win a knockout round game. And honestly, I could absolutely see us finishing third in our group.
I'm going to agree with you here, Dad, because our group is looking a little scary right now. I mean, you have teams with real quality that we have to play that we have struggled with before. I mean, saw the US go and beat Australia. Well, guess what? Australia beat Curacao, I believe, 5-0 today, who is a World Cup team. Now, Curacao is not our level. I'll put that out on the table. But Australia is hitting stride while we're going the opposite direction. Once again, we're playing harder competition, but putting those goals in the back of the net gives you some type of confidence going into this summer. I just can already see these matches playing out in my head. Australia has these young guns on their team, nick a couple goals against us. Turkey looks solid, looks experienced, has flashes of brilliance. And then Paraguay, like we're not even talking about Paraguay, CONMEBOL team that has ripped teams down there before, beaten Brazil before, beaten Argentina before. I mean, this is not looking good for us. Like, we need to make sure we're going to find a way to get points out of these other teams, even if it's a draw, don't you think?
I feel like we are more than likely going to have 1 win, 1 draw, and 1 loss. So 4 points. And that probably will be enough for third place. I guess it could be second place. And we did beat Australia and Paraguay, right, in a window last year.
Technically, in close games, to be fair, which shows resilience on the US's part.
So certainly we could be over dramatizing this whole situation, but I think we're going to get the better versions of Australia and Paraguay in the World Cup. And so I think it's very possible 1 win, 1 draw, 1 loss. And then we see where we go from there. And then we probably lose in the knockout round.
I mean, I think you're right in the sense that I could see every team beating one another in our group. Like, there is a world in which every team can beat each other in a circle if you drew it up. Like, legitimately, I think you could draw that up and be like, yeah, this team could beat this team. I mean, and, we're bigging up Turkey a little bit. They got through UEFA, but only through the qualifying rounds. And also, I'm not trying to downplay these teams, but Romania and Kosovo aren't exactly huge opposition. I'd argue Australia and Paraguay are better than both of those teams, at least right now. So they're going to have a tough time against those teams. I don't think anyone is taking each other lightly in our group, which is going to make for some amazing games, I think. And do the US have a home field advantage? I don't know if that's really a thing for us here, to be honest with you, but could be.
All right, let's move on to other business here.
Other business. Yeah, I mean, I guess to go a little bit lighter off of both of those topics, just wanted to shout out a couple of the other teams that made it through real quick. Sweden knocking out Poland, Dad. Gyökeres with the winner in the 88th minute. He's the guy. He's the man. Puts Sweden through. Poland, obviously, Lewandowski misses his last chance, assumingly, to be at the World Cup again. you'd assume he has to be devastated right now to lose in that fashion, right?
Yeah, but I would bet he's not shocked. I would bet that this is an outcome that he probably thought was coming if he was realistic. I mean, Gyökeres has been huge for Sweden this window. He's got to be a hero in that country right now. And I think Sweden, I'm going to say they're a dark horse not to win the whole thing. I'm not going to be ridiculous about it, but I could see Sweden winning a couple of knockout round games. Right, you get enough of a good game from Gyökeres and Isak if he's healthy enough and regular ready to go for the World Cup. I could see them doing some real damage.
Absolutely. You never like to come up against a team that has really potent attacking players because they can catch you on the break really, really easily, especially when you have two of them up top. I mean, you're talking, people like to joke about Gyökeres, but you're talking about two world-class players up top in reality. I mean, elite level talent. That's not something you wanna come up against in any game. So I'd agree, Dad. I think Sweden's gonna be really tough. Couple other shout outs here. Didn't really get a chance to watch the game, but Czechia beating Denmark on penalties. I'd say that's somewhat of an upset. Denmark has made some real impressions in past Euros, past World Cups. They've kind of been that dark horse team. So for them to get knocked out by the Czech Republic, I think that's a big win for the Czech Republic and good for them to get back to the main stage, right?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, this is the awesome part about 48 teams is you're gonna get more of these teams in there who could surprise. And when I say surprise, maybe win some group games, maybe win a knockout game. I don't see the Czech Republic doing that, but it's fun to have more and more of these teams in. It's going to provide more excitement this summer. I'm sure there'll be some ass kickings as well, where people are going to say, like you mentioned Curacao earlier, people are going to be like, why the hell are they in this tournament? And I get that. But of the additional 16 teams being added, I bet you 8 or 9 surprise and put up some good fights.
Absolutely. And like we always say, you never know what happens when it comes to those high level intensity matches. Guys are going to be throwing everything on the line. So we'll see. But one last shout out here, Democratic Republic of Congo, like I said, beats Jamaica 1-0 in extra time. So good for them. First World Cup since 1974 for them. What an amazing moment for that country. And then, Dad, quick prediction from you. In Guadalupe, Mexico tonight, we have Iraq versus Bolivia. Any idea who's going to win that one?
No. I mean, I think when I think about the countries other than just soccer, I'd like to see the people of Iraq get something fun and exciting, especially because it sounds like Iran might not even be coming to the World Cup because of all the political stuff. No offense to the people of Bolivia. So, I mean, obviously, is this a home game for Iraq? Like, I'd love to see them win.
I have no idea if it's a home game or if there will be any fans in the crowd for the match.
Right. I'm going Iraq. I'm going
I'll
Iraq.
take Bolivia just because I think the CONMEBOL presence is big for them. But here's some really exciting stats about both teams. Iraq has not scored in their last 2 matches, and Bolivia has not kept a clean sheet in the last 7 games. So we're either not going to have any goals or we're going to have about 15. 9 o'clock tonight, maybe I'll throw it on the TV. But anyways, Dad, let's move on to parting shots to wrap out the episode here. Just scrolling down on our little list we got on this end.
Well, I want to answer the first one here about England, so go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Is England's loss to Japan a real concern for them or just a slip up?
I don't think it's a concern. Japan are a decent side, so I think there's no shame in losing to Japan by any means. I mean, sure, all of these teams, US included, they want confidence. You want to win. You want to feel good going into the World Cup. And I know most countries have a couple more friendlies. We played Germany and somebody else before the World Cup.
Yeah, I'm forgetting the other team. But yeah, there's a few games left.
Yeah, and so other than maybe a slight loss of confidence, I don't even think they're gonna lose any confidence. I think it's perfectly acceptable. Like I said, Japan are a quality side. No shame there at all.
And England missing some key players like we talked about last episode. And it's a Premier League player who scored the goal. It's Matoma from Brighton. So, I mean, it's just an all English affair, I guess, in that sense. But we'll have to see what ends up happening in the World Cup.
All right, a non-international question. Is De Zerbi the right hire for Tottenham Spurs right now?
No, I think this is such a weird signing. And why didn't they do it 6 games ago? A specific style that he likes to play that we've seen in the Premier League before that doesn't just come about within a couple games or a game, which Spurs need something right now. They don't have time to adapt to something. They need something right now. And apparently he signed a 5-year contract with no relegation clause. I don't see this ending well for either side. I think this is a poor hire based on the timing, Dad.
I mean, I think he's a great coach, but yeah, the timing is just suspect to say the least. But, stranger things have happened, so we shall see.
All right. And bringing another one back here for all of our Italians and Italian Americans around the world. Is Italy's situation the biggest fall from grace in football history?
Well, certainly in my 55 years, it feels like it. Yes, I think it is. And the fact that it's been so sustained, that's the problem. They haven't fallen off a cliff, but they just can't get it done. And I did a little cheating and talked to my friend Gemini, and they talked about Hungary's Real falling off a cliff in the 1950s. I was not around then. As old as I am, I wasn't around then. So yeah, in my 55 years, this is the biggest fall from grace in international soccer. Yes.
Well, Dad, you need to let everyone know when you were born just to validate that statement real quick.
I said 55. They can do the math.
Okay, I'll let them do the math. But it's definitely worrying for them, Dad. So we'll see where they go from here next.
All right. Who is the biggest dark horse from these playoff qualifiers? I mentioned Sweden as a dark horse, but not to win the whole thing. So do you have an actual dark horse?
See, I don't think any of the playoff qualifiers have what it takes to win, but I'm going to go for the popular answer in Turkey. They have something about them. They kind of just grind out results and win. They find a way to win, and they have some special players like Yildiz in there and, just a good quality cohesive team. And this is the first time they've been in the World Cup in a while. So they're going to be ready to go. So if anyone's going to make a deep run from these teams, I think it is Turkey from an all-around team perspective.
I like it. Sounds good.
It's going to be a hot end of the season, Dad, and I'm sure we're going to have plenty more to talk about here. But until then, let's hope the U.S. figures their stuff out, and maybe everyone send their condolences to anyone Italian or who watches Italian football, because it might be a rough 6 months for them.
This summer's going to be real rough watching the World Cup. Yes.
I would have loved to see Italy play in like New Jersey. That probably would have been the funniest thing I've ever seen, just based on all the Italian Americans that live there. But we're unfortunately going to miss out on that. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining us for this quick express episode of VAR You Serious. Make sure you go ahead, hit the like button, comment, interact with us, let us know what you want to see next, and then we will be getting back to club football within the next week here, and we are excited to do that, aren't we, Dad?
Absolutely. Can't wait.
Awesome, everyone. Appreciate your time, and we will see you all soon. Have a good one.